I'm going to try to get Nina in here again. I would love to get her in here. She looks super excited. Nina is very excited, by the way, guys. We are all very excited, but we're dealing with...
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we did it.
All right.
Nina.
Oh my gosh.
What happened? You were dealing with some...
What a ride. I don't know. I couldn't see you. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. It was...
But I can see you and hear you now perfectly.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Before we were in a bad spot. But anyway, I was getting prepared to just run the podcast solo tonight due to all of our technological hangups.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll
you got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes me good. I think I can roll with the punches. So I just want to give everyone a minute to hop in before we dive in to everything.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Sounds good. Yes, I'm excited.
Sweet.
It's just like we're talking on the phone.
Which is no different. No
right.
different. So I'm just gonna hop on my tablet real quick. Okay. And give everyone a second here. How was your Valentine's Day?
It was good. It was
good.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It was sunny here in Cleveland, and it was a good day. It was a good day. Cleveland. Yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
I guess we'll kick it off, Nina.
Okay.
Where should we start? Aside from the tech that we suck at, we're not very good with tech here. But I do want to say, just to reiterate what we went over last week, me and Ira, hopefully in the future we can figure out a system to get 3 people on here. But On Blast is mainly about community, guys. Community all the way. That's what we're doing. And that's so important to me. And anyone that's on this channel, Nina, I know this is extremely important to you. I have no doubts, no reservations about that whatsoever. But it's extremely important that we have community here. And, you can talk pretty candidly here, and it's going to be transparent, and you don't have to worry about being scrutinized or someone, talking shit to you or something. I know I can be a hard ass at times, but I got a big heart. So, Nina, where do you want to start? Yeah. This was important for me to have you on. I know it was just as important to have you on. I know Ira's still chiming in the comment section.
What we could do, we could maybe have him on the phone if we wanted to talk to him as well at one point. Try to get him on a phone call. I don't know. Maybe it's best if we just leave it like this for now.
Maybe just me and you. Okay. It'll keep it nice and calm because Ira's, he's a real pain sometimes. I mean, hopefully he's not listening. But it'll be fine, just me and you.
All right.
And I get to talk to him on the podcast every week, but it was important to have you on this week. So tell us. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, so Nina is part of, I found Nina on a website when I was looking for help with Whiteboard Worthy. And for anyone that doesn't know what Whiteboard Worthy is pretty much our all-encompassing clothing line, right, Nina?
Yes.
So me and Nina work extremely closely. It's so fun. We have a good time, which reminds me, Nina, I do have to get back to that one email that I never sent last night. I didn't figure you were going to chase me down for it.
We go back a lot back and forth, so we can make it.
Yeah, fine. Hopefully as long as the boss doesn't come after me, right? So again, I found Nina, and she's a graphic designer. But you know what? How about you tell us about you?
Sure. Yeah. I've been an artist my whole life. Ever since I was 5 years old, I've always had a pencil or a pen and a sketchbook in my hand. So my whole life I've been drawing. I actually, when I was 7 years old, I told everybody I wanted to be a fashion designer. So it was like from the beginning, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I would sit in restaurants with my family and like make designs and dresses, and I was always buried in a sketchbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I started doing photography when I was about 13. I got into film photography. So I was doing that, and so I was always drawing and then now taking pictures. And I ended up going to art school. And
Where'd you go to art school, Nina?
since I went to Rhode Island School of Design, so on the East Coast in Providence, Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
the East Coast guys.
Yeah.
We're all East Coast folks over here, so we dig it. Okay.
Yeah. It was extremely challenging. I was there for 5 years.
What was challenging about
But
it?
it was, oh man, from the get-go, right when we started, it was just work on top of work, and they basically just like putting us through the grinder. And it was difficult because it was like, you know, you're 18 and there's already so much going on at that time, just personally, like for changing and transitioning away from home. And then you're thrown into this very high intense environment, kind of being stretched in creative ways. And,
creative ways.
You know, creative ways, yeah. So I the first year was, you know, explore different things and go into your degree or your major. And I majored in painting, which is kind of like the fine arts element to it. And I did a lot of different things. I did video, I did painting, I did installations. It was just experimenting all over the place. And then, so I graduated. I was struggling a lot during the time with some mental health issues. But I came out of it strong, and since then I've been, you know, on the upswing and doing a lot better.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Yeah.
This is meant to ramble, so I need to hear this. So, mental health is obviously, you know, that's so important to me.
Yes.
This was mental health was something that, you know, I grew up with a lot of tough love. So to show emotion and have feelings was kind of like almost frowned upon. Like my dad would look at me and be like, what are you, bitch? And I'd be like, I don't know, I'm just like a young kid. And, you know, I had feelings. So I grew up with the notion that, like, you know, it wasn't a big deal, but I was sadly mistaken. And that's something that I've said to you, but can you elaborate on that? Like you said, the mental health and kind of skimmed over it. I want to hear more.
Yeah.
I want to know what was going on every step of the way with Nina, because there's so many people that deal with mental health and people don't take it seriously, and they need to know that mental health is a big deal.
Yes, absolutely. And the conversation, I think it's getting better. You know, the conversation is opening up about it. And people are reaching out more for help, and because no one's alone in it. I mean, we're all human. We all struggle with sadness and insanity at times. But it all, I mean, like similarly, I was a very sensitive kid. And I feel very lucky to have a family who was supporting me in that. And, but yeah, I always have felt very deeply. And I just remember around 16, I would get sad, for very deeply sad. I wouldn't understand why. And there wasn't like a why or how to it. And I couldn't pinpoint it, but I knew deep in my soul that something was different, or something was changing inside me.
Yeah.
And so high school was very difficult in some aspects. Senior year was probably the hardest year in high school for me. And yeah, but
Why? Well, why was it hard? Because, you know, and it's
right.
really hard to talk about these things because,
yeah.
you know, and I always seen it as the older you get, and I say it to everyone, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, the older you get, the heavier your baggage gets. We all have baggage, you know?
Yeah.
So, including myself, we all have baggage, but what about like all of that was, you know, senior year? What was it? Was it just like, okay, like for me, one of my biggest anxieties is self-doubt. I always doubt myself, and I'm acutely aware of that. So, you know, and you're working on something very closely with me, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, you may not see that, but it's very real. It's very much so there.
Yeah.
Um, so that's something that like I deal with, but like senior year for you, what was it that just like sucked to get out of bed? Did something like set you off? Some people have triggers. Like, what was it?
I felt so lost, and I felt so far away from me. I could feel myself changing, but I was grasping for who I was, and I was almost like it was like two parts of me, they were starting to separate.
Yeah.
There was Nina who I didn't know, and then there was Nina who I did know, and I couldn't seem to get to her. And it was a lot of different factors at the time. Some things to do with family, some things to do with a relationship ending, and then also this kind of this big unknown coming at me, which I always, I always looked forward to the unknown. I always looked forward to going forward into just exploring, what life has to offer. I've always, but I guess, yeah, when you're feeling so lost from yourself, sometimes it can be a scary thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and it's hard. I mean, and also, I don't know, at the time I just felt like, I'm so young, like why am I feeling this way? Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I think that was a big thing, was that word shouldn't. I think it comes up a lot in people with mental health issues, is this big word shouldn't. And I think you just have to you have to put that aside, which is hard.
Yeah.
All the things you should be and you shouldn't be, and you just take care of what you actually are. And but yeah, so I went to RISD, and feeling that way, into this new, being kind of thrown into this new environment, and the whole time just trying to connect with new people, meeting new people while feeling this way, and not feeling fully myself, was difficult. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But Nina, you're pretty badass. So like,
Thank you. I think I am too.
I would never say, oh, Nina's dealing with these things, and a lot of people look at me the same way and go, Aunt, you're such a dick. Like, and I hear it often, and I get it, and it's very consistent. I hear them when they say it, but again, back to that self-doubt, is something I deal with heavily. You can't. It's how important is it that you like don't assume, like, again, I think you're badass, but like, as badass as you may be, you're still dealing with stuff, right?
Yeah, everybody is. Yeah.
So how do you like overcome something like that? I mean, I got a million and one ways of how I get past some of my stuff, but what works best for Nina?
Well, it's been a long time, a long road learning what's best for me. It was about, like, I will say, the depression got really bad when I was, about 2 years ago. So I'm not, it's still pretty fresh, but I'm coming out of it.
What's really bad?
We're really getting into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are. And that's what it is. So, I mean, it was bouts of mania, and just really, really deep down the rabbit hole. Yeah. I couldn't, it was to the point where I couldn't function, and I still had to get up, and I had to go to work, and I had to go to school. And every day was an episode. It was, just an existential dread every day. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's so it's been a long road for Nina.
It has, but I feel I've been feeling so great, this, especially the past year and a half. Things have really, I mean, your life can change in, not just like that. I mean, it takes time, but honestly, I mean, it can flip. I mean, people, I thought I was a goner.
Oh man, no. Oh my goodness.
But, no, maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but I really felt very lost, and, but I feel like I'm coming back to myself, and I'm what I find to help is just being busy, throwing yourself into what makes you passionate, throwing into yourself into what drives you. So that has been the clicker. That has been what's like I've noticed ignites me. Like I'm kind of getting back into hobbies that I used to like a while ago enjoy, and then also just kind of career-wise paving the road for myself and telling myself I can do this. And it is fighting that self-doubt every day. Yeah. You have to tell yourself no. You have to tell those thoughts no. Like
I like that.
You're not me, part of me.
Okay.
You're something outside of myself, and I think
people often, and I heard it a while back. I'm sure I've said it to you in an email somewhere. I think people often overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. You know, so, and something that I've seen a lot lately is I keep seeing like the word compounding, and you hear that a lot with like money and finance, like, you know, interest compounding over time. But I've been hearing it a lot recently in terms of like compounding your life, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, you look at struggling with some of these things. So for me, the self-doubt is like, it can be paralyzing. It really can. And, you know, and I get that, but in order to get over that, you really do have to change like that habit of thinking. And, you know, if you can manage to just be marginally better the next day and the next day and the next day, how amazing, like how that compounds over time. And like, before you know it, it's just like, wow, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's guiding those neural pathways. And then those grooves become deeper and it becomes a bit easier to see more clearly.
Yeah, and I'm sure I brought it up to somebody at some point, but you know, it's just amazing how much habit has to do with like every day of your life. Oh. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything. So what's your message for anyone dealing with like depression, anxiety, anything like that?
My message.
If you had to make a message.
Oh, it's so hard to do it.
Sure.
But be kind to yourself. I mean, just even affirmations have helped a lot. Like just finding some affirmations, writing them, saying them to yourself, and just telling yourself that you are worth it. You can do this. And I think a huge part of it also is remembering who you are, remembering deep down that core part of your soul, and that's what is love, and just remembering that. And you know, there are very abstract things, and it's I wish I could more of a concrete, you know, message.
Yeah.
But it's remembering, it's that core part of yourself, and affirming yourself that you are worth it and you're strong. Like that is one that, you know, it's strength. Everybody has strength and can tap into it.
Yeah. We talk so often about that, you know, going back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like that's my number one goal. So community is so important to really unite people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you did mention before that the conversations around mental health were, you know, they were starting to happen. And that's very reassuring. It really is so reassuring, because if it's one thing that I've noticed in the last year, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of, number one, home base, you know.
Yes.
And I say it to you, make sure you have time for Nina, because you absolutely need that time, because you know, it doesn't matter. Some days are better than others, you know, and you do have to, sometimes those words of affirmation, you know, I love to journal. Journaling's my thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got the journal right in front of me.
Yeah.
I can't reveal too much about the journal because I don't want to give away all my secrets.
it's a beautiful thing to have it tangible in your hand, though. I mean, it's in
doesn't that just like
place to just
it makes you just like feel like, oh, this is so real. This is like, I don't know, it's like it feels safe to me to have it, you know?
Yeah.
And again, back to the masculinity thing, like I'm a grown man. There is nothing wrong with saying like, and I've seen it recently, there's nothing wrong with saying like I need help or I'm in a bad spot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I see how that happens to people. You know, it's just, it gets to that point where it's just like, you know, you can't take it anymore. And, you know, you look at, and I hate it, but you look at some of the suicide rates and stuff like that is just like,
Yeah.
that's devastating, you know, to see that, like, you know, and I think, again, that compounds over time. I don't know if you wake up one day and it's just like, it's not working, but I imagine over time, you just maybe can't get out of your own head, or you're just like, it's just, something's not clicking. And that's just, I think that's, honestly, it's a tragedy to see those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so important, everyone, to take care of number one always, because if you don't take care of number one, what happens?
You can't take care of the other people in your life.
Yes.
I mean, it's, yeah, it's so true. So true. And it can be it can be a difficult thing sometimes to know what that means and how to do that, and how to talk to yourself, you know, kindly, and do the things that are good for you. And it can be a pretty impossible life to live if you're not taking care of yourself. You know, and for me, I like to see other people happy. That makes me feel good. I'm like, okay, like, yes,
you know, if I'm pleasing you, I'm like, oh, that makes me feel good. And then, you know, you sit down at the end of the day and you're like, oh, what about me? You know?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it is truly so important to take care of yourself. So let's segue into Whiteboard Worthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
are you working on? Tell us. We want to know.
Oh, I'm working on a lot of designs. A lot of, you know, it's like when I'm making a design it's a lot of hoodies and t-shirts right now, and templates that are already kind of set up. And when I'm working on something, I'll have an idea for the next thing. And so then I'll kind of segue into that, or I'll jot it down. And then I'll, you know, come back to it later. And it's so fun because it's building on top of each other, and it's the vision is becoming more clear. I mean, the inspiration is honestly coming from the conversations that we're having, and the conversations that we're having are just about life, about what we care about, and it's digging that up inside of me. Yeah,
some deep stuff.
There's
some deep stuff.
A lot in the work. Yeah, deep stuff, and there's a lot in the work. Yes, I think the main goal in my designs is just kind of to, you know, creating something that inspires someone. If you're looking at a clothing rack and just something that catches somebody's eye, speaks to them, whether it be the words on it or, you know, I want to create different designs, you know, with something a little different than what you would normally see, which maybe sounds a bit cliche, but
no, well,
that inspires want to wear it.
Cliche. We love it. Cliche.
Right? Like, it's cliche for a reason, right?
We care.
Yeah.
Cliche is good. If we want to be cliche, we can be cliche.
Yeah. Maybe that's a t-shirt or hoodie idea right there. Like, you know, it just, again, like, right? Be cliche. Who cares?
I'm gonna have to go like a week without talking to you, because every time I talk to you, you probably get another 10 ideas, and before you know it, you're gonna be like writing on like your bedroom wall, like, okay, don't be cliche.
Right. Yes. But it's great. It's really great. You know, I'm working a couple of different jobs right now, but this is my, like, where I am really able to just set free and do what I really want to do.
How do you balance that?
It's
a couple different jobs. You say it like it just like rolls off the tongue, like it's normal. But how do you balance that?
It's a lot. It's a lot of, I will be honest, I'm not the most organized person. I've never have been. It's never been in my personality.
Okay.
I really enjoy having variety in my life. Like that has always been part of me. It's just I enjoy having different things going on. And all the things that I'm doing right now they interest me, and I enjoy the people that I work with, and and
you're making
so
me
it's
blush.
Yeah. To enjoy what you're doing, and it can be a little crazy sometimes, but it's worth it. It's really worth it.
But
Yeah.
variety is the spice of life, I hear.
Yes,
That's just what I heard. I could be wrong, but it is so critical that you enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And just another
Up and do it.
another corny saying, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
It's true, because you're just doing it because you want to do it, and it's just moving you forward in a positive way.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
and a huge thing is like I have a studio space, or one of the rooms in my apartment just turned into my studio. So having a place to go every day, and it's like my designated area to just create and work on things, and yeah, that's definitely like been really important, is having that space.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, and this is it in here. Maybe I'll give you a little tour.
We want a tour. Nina's been promising me a tour,
Okay.
guys, but she has yet to give it to me.
Okay. All right, so I'll start. There is sorry, pardon the mess, but here is my desk.
Nina, can we flip the phone? I'm having trouble here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I forgot that we're in. Okay.
There we are.
All right, so here's like the paint corner. I have a little easel. It's kind of not set up right now.
Everything is copyrighted, guys. Don't try to steal her work.
Yeah, right. My desk.
So Nina's workspace.
Yes, this is my workspace. I have all my bookshelves with fabric and canvases, and I got like my little material cart, so I got all these markers and stuff in here.
Nina, let me stop you for a second, because we got some people that are chiming in. So anyone that doesn't know, Nina is one of the most creative people I've met. She works with me for Whiteboard Worthy. For anyone that doesn't know, Whiteboard Worthy is a clothing brand that we will be launching towards the end of the year, fall or winter. And we're super excited about that. So Nina is literally leading the way. She is incredible. And what everyone is looking at right now is her wonderful art studio. So please, Nina, take us away. Nina, show us the rest.
Okay. So yes, there's my shelf with lots of different materials that I can just kind of go to and grab. If I ever feel, I have my lighting here set up.
Okay.
Because I was taking a picture in here the other day, so I got some photography lighting.
Oh.
Yeah, cabinets, and here's a desk with all my old sketchbooks. So these are all my sketchbooks from dating back to like age 14.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, and then once again, there's my desk. This is where I sit for hours, and oh gosh, this is a sneak peek, but yes, there's a sneak peek.
She's giving away our best kept secrets. That was an absolute sneak peek for anyone in the audience. It was not a sneak peek for me, but
I didn't realize sitting up there.
Thank you for pointing it out. So now everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pointed
writing
it out.
It down.
Like, oh.
No, that's cool. So it's how important is that space to you? I mean, it's super, super important, right?
Yeah, every single space that I've lived in, even growing up in my mom's house, my bedroom, every square inch of that bedroom was covered with a magazine clipping or a drawing, or just like, I just wanted to be surrounded by inspiration. So when I woke up in the morning, I would just want to keep going and keep creating. And so every place that I've lived in since then, I surround myself with material. I surround myself with quotes, and drawings, and yeah. I love transforming spaces.
Is there days where it's just like you're stuck and can't like do anything? It's just like something's not clicking some days?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
And I close, and those days that where the self-doubt starts to creep in, you know, there's lots of different things I can do. I kind of just switch gears, like, all right, maybe I'll just play around in Photoshop a little bit if painting's not working, or I'll even just put on a movie or something to kind of like soothe things a little bit. And yeah, there are definitely days where I feel, you know, it's not quite going, but I just know that it'll be different, and I'll, you know, wake up. I always find that a good night's sleep is a good way to reset.
Oh yeah, you get a good night's sleep?
Yeah.
I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Oh no, you gotta take care of yourself.
I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best.
I know.
You know, I figure a good rule of thumb for me is if I can get at least like a solid 3 or 4 hours, I'm good.
Yeah, I've had, you know, 3 or 4 hours, and that's good.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think you need a little more.
Am I the punchline of your joke? No, but seriously, sleep is very important. Last night, I said it to my childhood friend this morning, Nick. I went to his place for the weekend. I think I mentioned I take a lot of trips down to South Jersey, and I see Nick, who's one of my favorite people. And I said to him this morning, I said, Nick, I slept great last night. I said, I was like almost like floored at myself because I haven't had a good night's sleep in so long, but I imagine it's very helpful on the body.
Yeah.
So
I love sleep.
Yeah.
Take lots of naps. Like productive. I try not to feel guilty about it because I find that, like, okay, it helps me to, like, when I wake up, all right, I'm like, you know, it's almost like a reset. I'm ready to go back at it.
How many naps does Nina average a day?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, sometimes where I take a nap, like maybe a couple of days out of the week in the afternoon, but
Okay.
Now we're getting into my nap schedule.
Nothing wrong.
No, it's good. No, I enjoy naps. They're nice.
Nothing
They're
wrong
nice.
with a good nap.
But I don't. Yeah.
So where can we find all your work, Nina? If someone's watching and they're a designer of any kind, and they want to check you out, where can they find your stuff?
Sure. Oh, I have a website. My website is my name. Can you hear my cat in the background?
Yeah.
He always meows.
Is he Siamese? He's very talkative.
He's very talkative. He's just like a black. I have two black cats. They're brothers.
Oh.
Yeah, they're a little crazy. They're a little crazy. But my website is my name, ninaripich.myportfolio.com. And so you can visit there, and I also have an Instagram where I post a lot of my art, which is photoshop.cowgirl.
Where I've been meaning to ask, where's the name come from?
All right. Well, I love Photoshop. Photoshop is a great resource. I create a lot of my art on Photoshop, and then also Cowgirl because I've always just dreamed of living in the West, and I ride horses as well, so it's always been. I love. Yeah, horses. I've always dreamed of. Yeah, I think I'm a cowgirl at heart, or maybe in my past life I was a cowgirl. I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question. We're gonna have to get one of those like past life regression therapists on here. See if we can't go find out some answers. I got some questions I could use the answers to myself.
Yeah.
So we're working on Whiteboard Worthy, which is obviously very exciting for me and very exciting for Nina. If someone wanted to like get into what you're doing, where's like a good starting point? If they're just like, you know, if they feel like maybe they have some mental stuff going on that's maybe stopping them, and they just want to get out there and get going, like, what could they do to do that? Just get, you know, their feet wet.
Just, you know, whatever creative outlet sort of, you know, sparks you in a way. Like, let's say it's just drawing, or it's you want to learn how to do digital drawing. Like maybe. I mean, I look up a lot of YouTube tutorials and I enjoy them. Okay. So, you know, just that's a great way to learn. It's a great platform for learning.
YouTube.
YouTube, right? And also just kind of posting stuff, getting it out there. It feels good to like, you know, put it out there in the world a little bit. And you know, I want to like recommend the website, the Upwork freelance website, where we found each other, but I don't think I recommend it that much because it's quite competitive.
So wait,
So,
let me stop you, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's funny. I was going to mention something about your portfolio. What makes like Upwork? Because there's Upwork. There's another one that I was on, Fiverr. Have you ever heard of Fiverr?
Fiverr.
What makes that like competitive? I'm just like curious for myself.
Well, you know, I didn't have much experience on it, but it's like basically artist, you submit tons of proposals and you don't get much back. So it's a lot of time submitting proposals for jobs, and I think basically the ratio of artists to jobs on there, like there's so many artists on there trying to look for jobs, and there just aren't enough jobs. Yeah. So I think that maybe that's the issue. But that doesn't necessarily mean that in life in general. Like I think that there's a lot of creative work out there to be done, and it's just so much of it is just making connections and meeting people, and so I'm grateful for meeting you through there. Like that was, you know, I haven't gone on since. It's like, all right, yeah, I met somebody that's a connection. That's awesome. Yeah, and also it's just honestly just meeting people and having those connections that way.
So Upwork is, it's funny because we're on live, so there's always people like hopping on and off. So I just try to like reiterate some stuff, just in case anyone misses anything. But if you really want to see anything and you missed it, you can wait until the video is over and rewind, or I think you might even be able to rewind now. But Upwork was, I can definitely see what you're saying with Upwork. It's interesting. But I remember reading through proposals, which is almost like you're applying for a job, and your proposal is essentially your cover letter for that job.
Yeah.
And I could see how it could be a little saturated, because I mean, in that time, the amount of proposals I got for the job I had posted was like, I was like, and I clicked yours, and I went to your whatever page it was for your portfolio, and I was just like, this is it. She's the one. you know, which was really cool, because, and I think I initially said it to you that your work had depth, and I wasn't an artist. I didn't know the first thing about art. I still don't, although I do make a good attempt at creating some things when I'm talking to you. I am not the designer. But yeah, I remember seeing your portfolio, and I was just like, wow, she has some incredible work. Which is really cool. Really cool.
Thank you.
So Nina, I don't want it to be like an interview or podcast. I think it's important the podcast is like always open discussion, and you know, we fuck with each other a little bit here. But do you have any questions for me? I mean, because you know I'm involved in everything. Is there anything that you want to know, or you think maybe someone in the audience might want to know that maybe I could tell them that would be helpful?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so interesting to me that you are so driven. You're doing all these different things. You're this entrepreneur, and it's that for me, it's like, I can't fathom having that kind of drive. Like, what makes you, like, where does that come from? Just that business drive within you to make something of yourself in that way. I think it comes, I know where you've talked about this before, like from your beginnings, and like why you're doing it today, why you're starting a clothing brand, why you're starting a podcast, but maybe others don't know.
So great question. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm watching like the screen like glitch, so I just wanted to make sure that like we have good signal before I give this whole answer.
Okay.
But for me, having the drive is it's a combination of everything, and there is no like fancy way to put it.
Yeah.
And to keep it as to the point with anyone listening and anyone that's trying to start their own business or anyone that's really trying to start anything. This starts from the very beginnings of my life. We struggled a lot. It wasn't ideal. And, I remember being younger, being homeless, being poor, not having the newest sweatshirt, a haircut that day. Like I was always the kid during picture day that had this like afro because, I couldn't afford a haircut and I was this little kid and my mom's like, yeah, I'll cut it for you. But I was like, I'm not letting my mom cut it. I want a barber. So we grew up really like disadvantaged, really. And for me, what just happened?
I don't know. It glitched. We're good. We're good.
Can you hear me good?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So for me, growing up struggling was already like the fire under my ass. I knew that when I was younger. And, as I got older, the problems kept coming. I mean, they snowballed really bad. I remember being in school. I mean, I'll keep it as transparent with you as possible because a lot of what I'm about to say, a lot of people don't know and they wouldn't believe. So I remember being expelled from 3 schools when I was in high school. And, that really hurt me. That really, really hurt me. Going through those problems in school. And, I got messed up with the wrong group of people. I had my stepdad who died, and it was like anything that could go wrong went wrong in my life when I was younger. A lot of it had to do with me. I made really poor choices, and I didn't even realize it. And I didn't have the best role models, and that added to the destruction path I was on when I was younger. And I eventually spent a year of my life away. I had to go to like I don't even know that I would call it a rehab, but I spent a year of my life essentially in jail. And that could have further made my problems worse, but I did, from that point on, I did phenomenal. I wanted to change my life. I really did. And I was starting to get to the age where I had it in my control to do that. So, from my early beginnings of just like totally sucking and everything to now, I always seen, people struggling, and, I see a lot of people make excuses not to do things. And, I want people to know, as cliche as it is, anything is fucking possible. Absolutely anything. For me, it's business. I gravitate towards business. I like the aspect of business, and building a business is very exciting to me. Working with phenomenal people like you is so exciting to me, and that's something I really cherish. But moreover, it's wanting to make a difference in the world for me. I want to be the person I needed when I was younger. And, I could have very easily made a different choice to just go down the wrong path in life. I really could have, and it would have been a lot easier, to be honest with you. And I feel for, young people that go through that same thing. But the older I get, the more I realize it's adults too, that are going through so much. So Whiteboard Worthy to me is huge because I love business. If I can build a business and, it does well and I can live off of that, great. But second to that, just having that drive is just, I don't know, it's like in my DNA. It doesn't like, and that's why I have a journal, because I have to like slow down some days because, my biggest problem really is I have a terrible memory. my memory is very bad, very, very bad. And growing up, I struggled with my memory and I didn't learn the same way. And I still do as a grown man, still struggle in that way. So, like, inherently, I just kind of like started to over obsess about things because I want to learn and I was eager to learn. So now, last year I left my really good job and I was like, I'm going to chase my dreams. I don't care at what cost. I want to make a difference. And that's why, the podcast is so important. Being able to talk to you, being able to talk to Ira, and again, back to compounding, letting those things compound over time because nothing's going to happen overnight. And that's not lost on me. So if I can do things I really enjoy, it's like it's seamless to me, to have these conversations and hopefully be able to shed some light on situations that are really they can be lost on people. It's possible for anyone. Long story short.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's beautiful.
Was it?
Yeah. Question: would you like have it any other way? Would you have changed anything about?
Absolutely not. I think
yeah.
If I could have, so growing up I wanted to be a state trooper. It was so important to me. But I was younger and made a mistake that stopped me from becoming a state trooper as an adult. Would I go back in time and change that? Being, my dream was to be a state trooper. Nope, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, and you could say, everything happens for a reason, but I think what I'm doing now is a lot bigger, and I think it's going to become something much bigger than even I realized.
Yes. I read this book by Julia Cameron, and there's a quote in there that says, when you move towards your dream moves towards you. And I think that's really true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And it's so important, like, and I hate seeing people struggle. That kills me. Struggling is part of life and I get it. But if the podcast or talking to you or selling a shirt from Whiteboard Worthy when it gets off the ground, if that somehow makes a difference in someone's life or just minimizes that struggle, even just small, that means a lot to me. That really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my quotes that I wrote in my journal today: "He who has a why can bear almost any how." And I heard that a few days back, but you have to believe in yourself, and you may have to take some risks, but to get anywhere, you're gonna have to make those risks. But yeah, I want to make a difference in the world, and I think I can. I think I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. We can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
What other questions you got for me, Nina? You don't have to take it easy on me, please. I expect you to pick me apart.
Oh boy. Okay. Ooh.
Anything you want.
Well, you're talking about habit. So, like, what habits for you do you find help you when you to fight that self-doubt that you're talking about?
Oh, good one. I like that.
Yeah.
So, and I hate to bring it up because I figured I would do one episode just about it, but once I got divorced last year, right? Something I've moved past, and I don't dwell on it any. I mean, some days it makes me sad, it happened, but once that happened, I started to see my own mental health was kind of like deteriorating, and day by day I kind of just lost sight. I needed to get a grip, and I needed to get a grip fast. So for me, I had to go away. I took a trip to Nashville, solo trip. I checked into a beautiful Airbnb, and I just was there to really get back to reality. And I think anyone that's got so far away from reality to stay, in the great words of Matthew McConaughey, to stay relative with the world around you, sometimes you have to go and change that habit. So for me, it was like at that point where I was mentally, leaving the house was an extreme endeavor. So to break that anxiety, I was like, I'm going to Nashville.
Yes, because you feel that. I mean, whatever you're fighting against, you have to go through it. Whatever you're you're coming up against, you gotta go through it.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's so true. Like you have to very consciously recognize this is something that I'm not good at, and that's fine. But how am I gonna get past this? And I knew the anxiety and the self-doubt was starting to. It was like bricks, one after the other, and they were starting to put up some really bad walls that I didn't want. So I booked a trip to Nashville, and November 1st, all right, I don't remember dates for the life of me, so obviously this was a big day for me. November 1st, I started journaling, and I didn't realize that would change my entire life. Just starting to journal, with the self-doubt, who knows where it stems from. It's probably childhood, it's probably relationships, whether it was an intimate relationship or just a friend relationship, but I write in my journal very religiously. People look at me like maybe I'm out of my goddamn mind, because I'm like, oh, whoa, I gotta go write, 1 second, I have to go write. And that has minimized my self-doubt, and I mean a number of things, but just the self-doubt is almost gotten rid of at this point. It's like, because I open this and I make a thing out of it, and I tell myself, you can do this. You have what it takes to do this. This is important to you. This is, and those little words add up over time, and you start to see like, okay, like I can do this. I don't, I do believe in myself. Like, and people have to believe in themselves. You have to, and I write it in my journal very frequently, you have to give yourself a fighting chance. You have to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Because like you said, anything is possible, and that potential within you that is there, that is possible. That is possible to like let that into the world.
Yeah, it is totally possible. And that may be small to a lot of people, but that absolutely changed my life, doing the journaling. And I think people that are maybe struggling with self-doubt or anxiety or really anything, pick up a notebook and just start writing some things down. I didn't know what I was writing when I started doing it. It just
same. And sometimes like your mind, you can't even think of sentences, but just write out words, just whatever's coming to your head. And sometimes your thoughts are moving faster than your pen, but it's for
that's
sure.
definitely my problem. I mean, if you look at some of these pages, look like I never even picked my pen up. It just looks like every letter is connected, because I'm just like, oh, I have to get these thoughts down before they leave. They're gone. But anyway, Nina, what are the plans for you? I mean, let's talk about that. Where are you headed? You mentioned maybe going out to Cali, and I want to hear about that. I mean, tell us about that, how that's going to interfere or help with your creativeness or just anything.
Right. So I won't say too much. That I'll just say that. Like, I won't say too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, ever since I was, a young teenager, I've dreamed of living out west, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Great.
Yeah, it is. And actually, similarly, what you were talking about when you went to Nashville, that was something I did for myself as well. About a year and a half ago, I went to Sedona for 2 months for my yoga teacher training program. So I just I knew that I needed to do something. I needed to like have a change of scenery. I needed to go somewhere that I was called to.
Yeah.
So I went to Sedona, Arizona for 2 months, and I lived there, and I did a yoga teacher training program. And it was, I drove like to the Grand Canyon. I drove all over Utah. I drove to Colorado, just me in my
I'm
car and
jealous.
listening to music.
I'm jealous.
And my dad, you know, I talked with my dad a lot, and he was saying like, you're filling the well, you're filling the cup, you're filling your soul. And it's so true. I mean, you go to those places that fill your soul. And my boyfriend and we have been to, in the year 2020, we went out west twice. So yeah,
Lucky.
it was, yeah, we you know, we ate peanut butter sandwiches in the car, and we just ate so cheaply and just wanted to be there and take pictures. And
That's life.
yeah, because that was the most important thing, is just being on those open roads and seeing the scenery. Yeah.
That is totally, I mean, sometimes it's just the little things in life. That's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so many places I want to travel to. I want to recommend the TV show for anybody watching. Anthony Bourdain's I've told you this before, but Anthony Parts Unknown, great series. He travels all over the world, also in the US. And it's not just about the food, it's about the culture as well. And he meets incredible people and has, you know, deep conversations with them. So it's a lot about human connection as well. So I would really recommend the series. It's great. It's on HBO, I think.
HBO, Anthony Bourdain. What an incredible, you know, person he was.
Really incredible writer, incredible human being.
He was a big writer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He wrote I think like 13 books. Yeah, a lot of them are about food, the New York food scene. Yeah, he wrote, you know, pretty much all of Parts Unknown, like, you know, when he's narrating, he wrote that, and it's pretty beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
So, he was a cool person.
For anyone that's watching, on Blast every week we're doing this, and Nina, I will absolutely have you on much more going forward. We'll probably likely be talking about more of the business side of things, because obviously that's so intriguing to me. One thing I wanted to just talk about with you, so for anyone that's on or watching, I have been working on the values of Whiteboard Worthy, which are so important to me. I mean, Nina knows this. I think I spoke with Ira. I don't know if Ira said he was going to be on watching us. I don't know if he stuck to that. But, you know, what did you think about, so the values for Whiteboard Worthy, guys, is you got connections, you've got, which is like our one family, but I don't want to give away too much of that. What did you think of those values, Nina? Like, what did they mean to you? Do you think like they're in line with what's going on in the world? Like,
oh, absolutely. When we first started communicating and you sent me those values, it was like I could have written that. Like, it was so in line with what I believe as far as connections, family, and the things that I value. And in this, you know, state of the world we're in, it is so important. Human connection is such an important thing, and we're really realizing this during this time. I mean, we've always known it for sure, but human connection is so healing, and it's so important. And I think it's especially as well with connection to ourselves as well, coming back to what's real.
Well, we talk about that a lot, you know, coming back to really your true identity. And, you know, it's funny, I was watching something with, do you know Dax Shepard?
I've heard, yeah, I think I've heard of the
You
name.
have to.
Is he?
He does a podcast.
Yeah.
He's married to oh, good Lord, I'll never be able to remember. But you know, he speaks about you know, almost being in like a stuff we talk about, an identity crisis, you know, and like that's so big, like to know who you are and really like, you know, not think of yourself as like a fraud in any way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, does that sound
Yeah.
accurate? Like,
It does. I mean, absolutely. And it comes from a deep listening, which it's very difficult, right? I mean, in this time, like there's so much noise outside of us, so much pulling us, and it's hard to listen. What's right for me? Who am I in all this?
yeah. So we are so excited about it. I'm happy you like the values that I've been working very hard on, Nina. They are
Yes.
truly my life. And for anyone that's starting a business, I would advise writing down some things that the business truly believes in, because that's like our blueprint, you know, to really be our driving force. And you know, I think that's so important to have, you know, especially for us and for me, even because if I don't put my thoughts on paper, it's like they don't, I'll never be able to remember them. And I've put so much time and effort into them. So, what about the, you know, that we were talking about the idea of doing like a internship, like, what can we talk about that a little bit? Like, have you given that have you given that more thought or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, like, I mean, we've talked about it, but having kind of growing the team and reaching out to artists who, like we were talking about, maybe don't know where to start or trying to get their career going.
Yeah.
And we want to bring people on board who value the things that we value and who
Do you think that's gonna
inspire.
be easy?
Whew, you know, that's a really good question. It may be easier than we think. Yeah, the people are out there, and I think that this is a great way. This conversation we're having and this podcast is a great way to maybe reach out to people who or think alike and who care about the same things. But also, it's great to have people who are different, like you've talked about before as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I entice anyone that's watching. This will also be posted to YouTube as well for anyone that wants to go watch it there. But we are going to be doing almost like an internship of some kind. And I entice anyone that is an artist or has some experience or even just drive, because, you know, in some instances, you don't need a whole lot of experience, but drive is so important to absolutely have. If you or someone you know is interested, Nina's going to need a design team pretty soon if she keeps pumping out all this work.
I've got a lot of ideas, and I'd love to have some people to bounce them off
Right?
of, for sure.
Not enough time in the day to do the 8 million things that Nina does. Not to mention, guys, she's got like 17 other jobs, so she's very busy. But I do encourage anyone to definitely reach out. I mean, you could reach out to me, you could reach out to Nina. And, you know, if we can't figure anything out, we'll still figure something out, I imagine, right?
Right.
How many people would you want for starters for your design team, Nina?
Oh, I mean,
would you get like 15 people, or do you just want to work like closely with one person?
Always been more of like an intimate person. You know, one-on-one. I don't want to say one-on-one, but like more small groups, I think.
Cool.
But I'd be open to. I think it would be good to challenge myself to have a bigger team as well. So.
Cool.
You know.
So.
It's both. There's both.
Anyone that's interested, obviously, you know, Nina could and would love to have some people that are like-minded work with her. She's extremely talented. I don't think I need to say that anymore on this podcast because we know. you can reach out to either Nina or myself. And it's not even just design, guys. We are building a clothing brand. Whiteboard Worthy is small. It's a startup. But that's where every big business, that's where any business starts. They start right where we are, right, Nina?
Yeah.
So we all need to start somewhere. So anyone that's interested to work with myself or Nina, and we do have some other people that are going to be joining our team, helping with photography and editing and so many different things. We are looking for a rock star team, that we can work with long term, right?
Yes.
It needs to be long term, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And if you think a little differently than we do, that's also welcome. I mean, I'm always down for a challenge. I know Nina doesn't mind the challenge at all either. Did I miss anything?
No, I think it's great.
Sounds good.
Great.
How long we been on, Nina?
That is a good question.
I could probably sit here and talk all night. I probably shouldn't, though.
Probably an hour. I think we've been on it for an hour.
All right, so
yeah.
Just to recap, I mean, we went over some mental health stuff that is super, super important, you guys. Whether you're dealing with depression, anxiety, you got to know in so little words, you matter. You truly do. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of people's time. And I don't care if you think it's fucking corny. It's true. It's very true. You deserve a chance. And if you're dealing with something pretty rough every day, like, Nina was dealing with some depression and, I'm dealing with self-doubt, pick up a journal, go get some paper, paint on, the walls. You got to know, whatever it takes, you really have to consciously remind yourself, like, you need to give yourself a shot.
Yeah. Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving. For sure. You got to keep moving. And then, just into Whiteboard Worthy, the On Blast podcast. We're all about community here. That's really important to, anyone that's ever going to be on this podcast, anyone that I talk about. Community is everything. I want to be able to unite people in some way, and it's a crazy world out there. It really is. It's too bad in a lot of ways, but I'm not focusing on the negatives of it. I'm thinking of more long-term. Let's build a company that can make a huge impact in the world. And, you're not just buying a shirt. You're going to be buying a shirt and know that you belong to something larger than life. And when you tune into our podcast, it's not like you're just here and we're just shooting the shit, which I'm usually doing, but we're here to give you guys some information, hopefully help you in some way or someone pretty much. And we're happy to be doing the podcast every week. It's going to always be until it's subject to change. I'm sure it's going to be me and Ira, who wasn't here today because I needed to get Nina on. That was super important to me. And that's where we're at. So every week you'll be able to catch our podcast. It'll be on YouTube. If you haven't already, definitely go subscribe to us on YouTube. It's the On Blast podcast. And then you have our Facebook and Instagram. If you haven't already, go check us out on Facebook and Instagram, as well as, and we can't forget for, you, Nina, go check Nina out. Go see her portfolio. If you guys need any work, I'm sure she'd love to pick up another job or two.
Yeah. Sure.
She's very talented. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's very talented, and it's a real pleasure to work with her, because I've worked with a lot of people that, in so little words, are not quite a pleasure to work with.
No.
Right? Do you have anything to add for us, Nina? I'm trying to think in my head if I've got anything I'm leaving out.
No, this is great. I had a great time.
I'm happy that we could have you. I mean, we talk all the time, whether it be email or on the phone. So, Nina, what are we thinking in terms of, before we hop off, when, like if someone wants to buy a shirt, when can they expect to get a shirt from Whiteboard Worthy? What are you thinking?
Ooh, we're looking next fall, winter. Yeah, so
Cool.
in about a year. Yeah. There's a lot to be done before then, but we got it.
I think it's very much so doable. And I mean, just think how much is going to happen in that time.
Yes.
That makes me very, very excited.
Yes.
You know, and that's all I got, Nina. This has been cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
it's been great.
Hopefully we can work something out where you know, we can have more than 2 people on the lives. Eventually, for anyone that is wondering how to start a podcast, just start doing it. Just get into it. And looks like Nina's chiming in and out over there. But anyone looking to start a podcast or feel like they can't do it or they're just hung up, my advice is just go do it. You know, I believe very firmly that you just have to dive into some of these things. Starting a podcast, we're on our phones. It's not anything extraordinary, but we're happy to be doing it. You know, and I entice anyone to chase those things that, you know, they're going to set their world on fire. Those things that really get you going in the morning. Right, Nina?
Yes, absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to be shooting you an email sometime, probably tomorrow morning, realistically. I'm wiped out. It's been a long day for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Take it easy.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And again, if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow our journey. It's going to be a long journey. It's going to be fun, and we are excited to be doing it. Catch us on YouTube to watch our full episode. And as always, it's a real pleasure. We'll be back next week, Sunday, 8 p.m.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. It's been a real pleasure as always.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
See everyone later. Bye-bye.